Today we're going to talk about something absolutely vital, but maybe a little overlooked. We're diving into our body's amazing 24/7 cleanup crew, the excretory system. Let's jump right in. Okay, so here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll figure out why we even have a waste problem. Then we'll meet the cleanup crew and get a look inside their tiny filtration plants. We'll walk through the whole purification process, see who else helps out besides the kidneys, and wrap things up with a little challenge to make sure you're exam ready. All right, first up, before we can really get how the solution works, we've got to understand the problem itself. Why does our body need a full-time, round-the-clock cleanup crew in the first place? Just imagine your body is this bustling city of tiny factories. That's basically what your cells are. They're working nonstop, making energy, keeping you going. But, any factory produces waste, right? And in our body, some of that waste is actually pretty toxic. So what happens to it all? Well, all that factory work, that's what we call metabolic activities. And yeah, they're crucial for staying alive, but they also create some nasty byproducts, things like urea, uric acid, and creatinine. And here's the deal. If that stuff starts to pile up, it's seriously bad news. It has to go. And this is super interesting. You can actually see this stuff in a real blood report. Take a look at the results for creatinine and uric acid here. See how they're flagged as high? That's a huge red flag. It's telling us that the body's cleanup system is falling behind and that toxic waste is starting to build up in the blood. So who's in charge of dealing with all this toxic junk? Time to meet the A-team, the organs of the human excretory system. Okay, check out this flow. This shows the entire journey waste takes to get out of your body. It kicks off in the kidneys. They're the main filtration centers. From there, the waste, which is now urine, flows down these tubes called ureters into the urinary bladder, which is basically a holding tank. And finally, it's out through the urethra. It's a super efficient one-way street for waste disposal. We've seen the big picture, the main organs. But now, let's pull out the microscope. We're going to zoom way, way in to find the tiny little engines that are actually doing all the heavy lifting. And this is it, the nephron. You are looking at the true hero of the story. It's this tiny, incredibly complex structure. Your kidneys are packed with millions of them, and each one is its own little purification plant, just working away, cleaning your blood 24/7. So how does this little powerhouse work? Okay, so first, blood gets forced into the glomerulus. The best way to think of it is like a super high-pressure strainer. It's nestled inside that cup-shaped thing, the Bowman's capsule. Basically, all the small stuff gets squeezed out. That liquid then goes on a long journey through the renal tubule, which is kind of like a processing line where things get sorted, before it all gets dumped into a collecting duct. All right, this is the main event. How in the world does a nephron take blood full of waste and turn it into squeaky clean blood plus a little bit of urine? Well, it's all thanks to this genius 3-step process. The easiest way to remember it is filter, return, and remove. Step 1, filtration. The system just pushes almost all the small stuff out of the blood. Step 2, reabsorption. The body goes, whoa, wait a minute, we need some of that back. So it grabs all the good stuff, water, glucose, salts, and pulls it back into the blood. And then step 3, secretion. This is like a final cleanup sweep, where the body actively chucks any leftover trash from the blood into that tube. And after all that back and forth, what do we have left? Well, as you can see, it's almost all water, like 96%, which, by the way, is exactly why you hear drink more water all the time. It gives your kidneys the liquid they need to do their job without getting overworked. But it's that other 4%. That's the important part. That's where all the toxic junk is that your body desperately needed to kick out. Okay, so the kidneys are obviously the superstars of this whole operation, right? But they're not a solo act. They've got a whole supporting cast of other organs that are also helping out with the big cleanup. Think about it. Your lungs, they get rid of carbon dioxide every time you breathe out. Your skin, it pushes out water and salts when you sweat. The liver, it's a beast. It's a master detoxifier that handles toxins. And of course, the large intestine takes care of the solid waste from your food. It really is a team effort across the whole body. And hey, it's not just us animals. Plants have to deal with waste too. They just have a totally different strategy. Since they don't have special organs for it, they kind of store it. They'll stash it in leaves that are about to fall off or in their bark. Or they'll turn it into things like gums and resins. And get this, their biggest waste product? It's oxygen, the very thing we need to breathe. Pretty wild, right?
Okay, theory time is over. You've got the concepts down. Now let's see if we can make it stick by tackling some real exam-style questions. This is where the rubber meets the road.
First up, a little case study. Here's the situation. A person's key filtering organ is damaged. Waste is piling up in their blood. To fix it, their blood is being pumped out, run through some tubes to be cleaned, and then put back in. So, what are we looking at here?
So, what do you think? The big clues are the damaged organ and the fact that the cleaning is happening outside the body. That's a textbook description of dialysis. It's basically a machine acting as an artificial kidney. All right, next one's a quick knowledge check. What do we call that microscopic functional unit inside the kidney? That little filtering powerhouse we spent so much time on. Yep, yeah, got it. It's the nephron. Don't get it mixed up with a neuron. That's for your brain.
Okay, assertion reason time. These can be tricky, so let's break it down. First, the assertion. Gums and resins are excretory products of plants. Is that true? Yep, we just talked about that. Now, the reason. Plants lack specialized organs for excretion. True again. So now the final crucial question. Does the reason explain the assertion? Yes, because they don't have excretory organs, they have to use methods like creating gums and resins. So both are true and R is the correct explanation. The answer is A.
You know, exams love to connect different topics. You might get a question like this one on malnutrition and think, wait, what does this have to do with excretion? Well, everything you eat provides the raw materials for those metabolic factories we talked about. So for a short answer question like this, here's your game plan. Start by defining the main term, malnutrition. Then give a couple of specific examples of deficiency diseases, like kwashiorkor and marasmus, and explain what causes them. It shows you understand the whole system.
So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways. It all boils down to this. Excretion is all about getting rid of harmful metabolic waste. The main players are the kidneys, ureters, bladder, and urethra. The real workhorse is that tiny filter, the nephron. It all happens in a three-step dance of filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. And remember, the lungs, skin, and liver are all pitching in to help.
So I want to leave you with one final thought. Your kidneys filter your entire blood supply more than 60 times a day. That is an insane amount of work. So now that you know exactly how they do it, what's one simple daily habit you could start to make their job just a little bit easier? Something to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.